Hello, Aries. This is Michael with your general reading for March 2022. I do hope that this reading finds you well and in good spirits. I actually have a very exciting announcement before we dive into your reading here today. I now have a Patreon page where you can support me and my content. I have different tiers of membership, and with the most basic tier of membership, you actually get access to all of my astrology notes. So if you're interested in learning more about astrology or just seeing kind of day by day what's going to be happening for your specific sign, that is a great way to do that. And I do have different tiers as well. I'll be offering live streams that are members only. I even have a Reiki healing circle or an energy healing circle, as well as just kind of like the manifestation circle, so we can kind of work together more collectively, which I'm really, really excited about. So that is linked down below if you want to support my channel in that way. I really do appreciate it. It is, of course, not necessary whatsoever. It's just for people who want to go out of their way to support this channel a little bit more. I do appreciate all of you who have been with me since the very beginning. All of your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes do help this channel to continue to grow and thrive. So I really, really appreciate anyone who has supported me in that way as well. All of my links are in the description box if you're looking for a personal reading or a Reiki session with me too. So if you want to get some individual guidance, that is available as well. I am just going to be transparent. I probably will be increasing my rates soon as I'm getting Patreon and membership people coming in. So if you want to get a reading or Reiki session with me, now is actually a really good time to do that. Anyways, I have your cards here. The first card that we have for you is the Page of Cups. This is very much about you connecting with your intuition, you getting back to your own heart is what I am feeling here. This is energy that you've been really in for February and really trying to connect to your intuition. And I feel like a lot of you have had a hard time expressing yourself emotionally. Interestingly, this is actually the second time I've attempted to record this video, and I was just having this coughing fit. I couldn't get the words out, and it felt like there was something blocked with your throat chakra, or with your ability to express your truth, express yourself, and be vulnerable. And there's actually some cards here that kind of indicate that too, so that is interesting. We are starting this month off with a new moon in Pisces. This is really occurring in kind of a subconscious part of your chart, and there might be a lot of things that are shifting beneath the surface that don't quite make sense to you yet. And I think a lot of you are actually going to be taking your mental health quite seriously in March, especially before we enter into your season. While we're still into Pisces season, it really is a good time to do the things that help you psychologically, help you spiritually. That could be meditation, that could be therapy, that could be any number of things. And the card I have kind of clarifying the Page of Cups, what you've been gaining, or your advice for this month, is actually the Moon card. And the Moon does often indicate that there's something about heightened emotions. This could also be mental health issues as well. So depression, anxiety, really could range to any number of things. You know what I'm talking about if this is resonating for you. But this specific moon card is very interesting because it is Artemis, and she has her bow. She has this aim, even though the tides are moving and things feel very unstable, there is still a focus moving forward, or there is this sense of what you need to do. So despite maybe your heightened emotions in the previous month and even into this month, there is this sense of direction. And I'm not going to lie to you, Aries, this is actually kind of a bit of a challenging month for you, or at least right out the gate, it could feel a little bit rocky. So it's very important that you do have this kind of greater perspective, or this bigger picture that you are focusing on as you're going through this month. I think that this is just really, really important. And I really would strongly encourage you to work with the lunar cycles this month as well. So this new moon in Pisces on the 2nd is a good time to start developing intuition, or really getting in touch with your dreams, or anything that is subconscious or otherworldly. That is a great time to do that work. And again, meditation is a good practice to commit to around this time, or anything that helps you with your mental health or nourish your soul is going to be very beneficial to you this month. And with the Virgo full moon on the 18th, this is also about health and routines again. So there is something about you needing to really build better routines in your life this month. I'm getting the sense that a lot of you might not be eating well, your sleep might be really erratic. This is a good month for you to really address these things and to kind of get things on lock. Especially once we get into your season towards the end of March on the 20th, when the sun enters your sign, you're going to want to just burst out of the gates, and you're going to want to be in a good state when you do that. It's going to be your turn to shine. So there's a lot of maintenance that's happening this month, and there's actually a lot of work that could be happening with the Ten of Wands here. Now, the Ten of Wands could represent feeling burdened. And if this isn't in your physical life, if you don't feel overwhelmed by the tasks around you, it could just be the burdens that you're carrying and maybe things that you need to let go of. I know right at the beginning of this month, your ruling planet Mars is kind of in a bit of a doozy because there is a conjunction between Venus and Pluto on the 3rd, and that is in Capricorn. And Pluto brings profound transformations. It is the planet of death, rebirth, and mysteries. And there is a lot that is happening here in your career, or actually, what I really like to say this as with the 10th house, which is Capricorn energy for you, it's your role in the world. So it's interesting that there's all this energy, all this burden, all of this back-breaking energy, and we're talking about career, we're talking about the work or the things you do for other people. You really do have a lot that is happening for you. And there is a potential for like make or break moments here, actually. So there could be quite a bit of pressure that you are experiencing in this month. There could just be major changes that are taking place that really feel like there's just so much on your back. I'm actually thinking of, there's this song from Encanto. I actually haven't seen the movie, but it's like about the sister with like super strength, and she's singing about all this pressure that she feels all the time as like the big sister, that she has to just carry all this stuff by herself. So you might be feeling this sort of energy, kind of the weight of the world. And it might actually be signifying something that needs to end, potentially something that you need to let go of. But I do feel that there is something here where it's like you're going to be able to persevere, you're going to be able to move forward, at least get through the situation, right? You're going to get through it. And maybe that's why you have this moon card as your advice. You just need to keep your eyes on the end game, on the goal, on your target. Just keep moving forward. There might be some things that you need to let go of, or just really need to reprioritize, and maybe even give certain responsibilities to other people or ask for help. That is something that's super important. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of this month really is about your mental health. And it is about you also needing to reach out to other people, because Mars, your ruling planet, is going to be entering Aquarius on the 6th, which is your 11th house, your house of social networks, friends, groups of people. There really is this direction for you, or this drive for you to connect with other people. Even if that's something you resist at first, it's like you won't really be able to fight it. You kind of have to be able to talk to people. There could potentially even be some conflicts between you and other people that need to get resolved. And I do see that with the 2 of Cups and the 5 of Cups as a challenge this month. This is an incredibly interesting combination to me. Because when we look at the 5 of Cups here, very often we see 2 cups that are remaining in this picture, and it is in this card specifically. There are still 2 cups that are upright, even though there are some things that kind of fell over, some things that didn't work out the way you had hoped they would. There might even be kind of like a reality check, or some like moments in relationships or just in situations where it's not as easy as you thought it was, or you had something that was going well, but then it was like not the thing that ended up making you happy. There still is this 2 of Cups here, though. There is still some good that remains in this situation. And I want to tell you now, if there's problems in your relationships, it may actually be something that can still be worked out, because you do have the 2 of Cups here. You do have these 2 cups quite literally next to this card. that tells me there is still something that can be worked out here, or it wasn't all for nothing. Very often, the Two of Cups does also represent being strong enough to be vulnerable, which is why we have the lion head here. It takes a lot of strength, actually, and a lot of courage to be able to speak your truth and to bare your heart and soul to another person. And this isn't a codependent relationship. I think that's something we always should keep in mind with the Two of Cups. It's not that you're going to this other person trying to get your cup filled. You both have a cup, and you're both fulfilled already. You're just trying to share that with one another. So I'm not telling you that you're going to stay in a codependent relationship. You're coming from a very self-possessed or self-loving place as you're working on your relationships, or you need to get into that energy more. I do also notice the white and black motif here, which often indicates balance, light and dark, kind of weighing out the pros and cons of things as well. I mean, with the Three of Cups, it is like there are 3 cups that are knocked over, but there are still the 2 cups remaining. It is almost like there's more cons than pros. But with the Two of Cups here, it's like maybe something can actually be worked out. Maybe this isn't all for nothing. And if this isn't a relationship, this could just be a situation in your life where it feels like just nothing's going right, or something isn't going right. And it's not as bad as it seems. The moon can kind of be that sort of perception that we get into, that kind of headspace, when we're depressed or anxious and everything just feels impossible. You need to really be tracking how your emotions are coloring your perspective, especially in the first part of this month. Okay, Aries? I do actually have the Three of Cups and the Strength card showing up here, however, and this feels really, really good to me. Interesting that I was talking about the strength with the Two of Cups, being brave enough to expose yourself or to be vulnerable. And this is actually with groups of people. I don't necessarily think this is just a romantic thing. You're really being encouraged and guided to open up with the cards here. And so I think there is something about you really, connecting with people on a heart level or on a heart wavelength here. And that seems very, very significant to me. I do also see the potential with Leo energy, something coming here as well, connecting to Leo energy, because the strength does represent Leo as well. So you may be connecting with Leos or other fire signs. But I really overall just feel like you're connecting with people who you can actually be yourself with. And the Strength card, it's not just this brute ferocity. It is very much about composure and being able to speak your truth without being the devouring lion either, which is very hard when our emotions are stirred, when we're in kind of a heightened state, right? So you might actually need to wait for yourself to kind of settle before you're able to have certain conversations. Or you're able to have those conversations in that state and kind of remain centered. I get the image of like a rock in the middle of a storm at sea, and that rock is just staying still and standing strong against the waves that are crashing around it. So that could be kind of energy you're in, and again, reminds me a lot of the moon. And I do think too, Six of Cups is, or I'm sorry, the 6th house and the 12th house that are going to be activated for you this month with the moon. There is actually this thing about enemies, actually, that I feel like I need to talk about. Because both the 6th house and the 12th house can represent enemies or kind of karmic relationships like that. Especially with like coworkers or people in our daily life, maybe some gossip that's happening. And you're kind of being the one who's being very strong and composed in those situations. You may be addressing things, or you're just not letting it get to you. But I feel like you are connecting with other people as well. You are finding support in other people too. It's just very interesting. We have this focus very much on social dynamics for you this month, because we have a lot of Aquarian energy, even though we're in Pisces season and then your season. We still have quite a bit of planets that are going to be in Aquarius. And I'm actually thinking specifically on the 22nd, we have Mars, your ruling planet, in Aquarius, forming a square with Uranus in Taurus, and that is in the second house of money, possessions, values, and that could be a clash over finances potentially, but I actually almost think of that more as the latter, the clash of values, right? You might be needing to navigate those situations. So the energy does feel like a lot. I'm not going to lie. It feels like there is quite a bit that you're navigating this month, but I feel like you're ultimately coming out on top. You're coming out very strong here. You're not going to be broken this month. You just have to remember that things are challenging right now and nothing is permanent. Everything, it goes in phases and cycles. Everything comes to an end, and that includes our pain, that includes our challenges, that includes our suffering. So whatever it is that you're going through this month, it's important that you kind of remember that it is liminal or that it is transitory. It's not permanent. And I feel like you come out feeling very good, actually. And the Three of Cups can just represent celebration. It can represent joyous occasions, good times. It very often does represent social gatherings, but it could just be a celebration of any kind, really. So that's actually really, really beautiful to me. And thinking again, too, your planet Mars is going to be conjunct with Venus really technically all this month, but for the first 11 days, they're still going to be in the same degree together. They're traveling together very closely, and we've already been in that energy. And it is making you very magnetic. I almost feel like there could be people who are jealous of you. However, that's actually very interesting to me. Or there could be people who are trying to keep you down. And this is called, what is this called? I think it's like normalization. I don't think this is the actual term, but it can be very like group polarization, group normalization, or group regulation. This is going to bother me. I'm sorry. I'm a psych major. I should know this. But basically, it's this tendency for individuals to kind of dissuade people from making positive changes in their life because on some level that is threatening. And there's actually this expression called crabs in a barrel, where sailors would just kind of leave crabs in a barrel and not put a lid on it because all the crabs were trying to crawl out at the same time, and they would actually pull each other back in. So it's like, it could also be a dynamic like that too. There could just be like really complex social dynamics here, but I actually think it's something that you're supposed to address and at least try to resolve. Maybe that's just for your own peace of mind, but I feel like for some of you, you're actually going to be resolving some sort of relational problems this month. That feels really, really important to me. And maybe you're actually learning to uplift each other. You're learning to find strength in numbers as opposed to, kind of having your ego hurt every time someone is doing something that they're proud of. And that could be directed at you, that could also be around you. It's just something that's important to be honest about. We're all human, we're not perfect. We have our weaknesses, we have our areas that we're really sensitive about, right? And that could absolutely be tripped up when we have all of this Pisces energy for you. Just saying. So just kind of track that. Keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world. You're not a bad person. We're all doing our best. Let's actually pull some animal cards here for you. What is the animal wisdom we have for Aries? How can we maneuver this energy? Fire ants. Okay. Very, very interesting. Because this card very often shows up when there is kind of this tension in a group setting. When we really look at this card, it's like there's someone at the center here who's really taken all the heat. And very often the advice here is to take time to yourself. I believe the book actually says to take walks at night, if that's something that's safe for you to do, or just literally allowing yourself to cool down. Taking space from things. But you are supposed to be working together. Maybe the reason it feels like there's a lot happening for you, there could be workplace drama, and it's like there's a lot of responsibility or there's a lot of pressure on you, and no one's working together or getting along. So that could also be something that's coming up too, especially on the 3rd, again, with Pluto, Venus, Mars, all coming together in the 10th house. You'll probably feel that energy for most of the month, not gonna lie. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna feel pretty intense, but With this Fire Ants card, even though there's sort of this disruption in the hive or in the collective, Fire Ants are actually very good at working together. And funny how we were talking about like emotional flooding earlier, just a lot of water motifs were coming up. Fire ants will actually form a ball during floods, and they will take turns kind of moving. So some of them will be above water, some of them will be submerged, and they do this in such a way where they each can still breathe. They can keep each other alive while they are being drifted away somewhere. So you're actually, you can work together even in sort of an intense situation. And honestly, Aries, it might actually be up to you to kind of be this guiding force. No pressure or anything. But I do see the elk at the bottom of the deck here as well, which is this card that really does feel like a strong leader. It's very masculine energy, or at least traditionally masculine energy. And it is kind of you being the stability in a situation, right? You're bringing a lot of stability, even if things feel very wobbly for you. And I'm actually looking at the time right now. It is 5:55, so we have 5:55. Things could be changing very dramatically, but there is this angelic presence that is helping you, or there are spirits who are helping you through this time as well. There is a lot of change that is going to potentially be happening for you, and you might not even know what's happening because it's all in your 12th house. It's all in this Pisces sort of energy. So you feel like something is going on and you don't know what it is yet. You really do have to take care of yourself. I know the elk actually talks about taking care of your body, eating healthfully. Some of you might be eating a plant-based diet or whatever diet is most healthy for you. You're doing something or making changes that really help you, and really help you help other people. And those are all the messages I'm getting for you this month, Aries. I do hope this was helpful. I know it was kind of a lot. Let me know in the comment section down below what is happening or where this pressure is. Maybe you can kind of help support each other. I promise my viewers are very nice people for the most part. I try to get rid of those rude comments, so if anyone does say anything, please report them. But yeah, I think it's important to really find support. And I think that's something that's going to be really important, and supporting yourself and also getting support from other people. Anyways, Aries, I will see you in the next video. You can find me on Patreon. Again, that is linked down below. And I'm wishing you a very happy March. Take care.